Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast, episode 481. We're up to a brand new series of films now. These are all one-offs of TV shows turned into movies. We're going to kick it all off with The Green Hornet from 2011. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, Nate, how many times have you seen this film?
Okay, so this is an interesting one. I have seen this movie 2 times. Well, this was my 3rd time seeing it. I saw it at the theater, and I have a quick theater story that I'll always remember. And then I saw it for the first. I made my brother watch it when it came out on Blu-ray. So me and my brother watched it. I saw this at the theater, and I'll never forget. This was still when they were doing midnight screenings. So I was like Thursday night at midnight. Green Hornet. It was in 3D. This was a big 3D boom, and we'll get to the review. We'll talk about it, but this was a 3D movie. I distinctly remember the theater broke when I went to see this. Alex, if you remember the scene where it's like a montage where they're building stuff and contraptions and they're working out. So there's a scene where they show them shooting the machine gun out of the car hood and it's loud and it got frozen at that part of the theater. So it was like 5 minutes of just like that sound nonstop. People started getting up, leaving, and it was in 3D. Then the 3D turned off, so it was blurry. It was just a blurry, loud screen for a good 5 or 6 minutes. And I remember that the theater goes black. When it comes back on, they fast forward it. It was like 10 minutes later. So then everybody was mad. What? This is like a toy. So then they had to rewind it. They had to turn it off again, put it back. And this is digital, by the way. Rewind. I don't know. You just go to a spot. And then finally, so the movie, it was about 2 hours. It actually took me like 2 hours and 30 minutes. Because it kept messing up. Movie. So I'll never forget that experience. So the first time I watched it correctly was at home.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to see this in a theater. I saw this one time when I purchased it on Blu-ray, and this is the second time watching this.
I have this on Blu-ray as well.
So it's funny because the only reason I remember The Green Hornet is because my dad was like, oh, Bruce Lee was Kato in the TV show. I think it was a TV show or something like that.
Yeah, in the TV show he was.
Yeah, in the TV show. He was, oh, Bruce Lee was the I was like, really? And then when I look back, I was like, holy crap, he was right. Because my dad was really big. Yeah, my dad was really big into like martial art film westerns and all that stuff. So he was like, you want to see Bruce Lee whip some ass? He was like, watch Green Hornet. And I started laughing. I was like, dude, it's a TV show. And he goes, oh, no. It was actually really good. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
This could have fit. We had 2 options for this movie. This could have fit in the old, like when we did The Shadow and all that. Because this started off as like a radio thing in the 30s. So Green Hornet predates Batman. And it was the rich mask thing, whatever. We could have done it then, but that was kind of stuffed already. And I was like, you know what? It's also a TV show. This movie, we don't really do fun facts too much, but when I tell you some of the people who have been attached to this movie, you're going to be like, what? In this thing, apparently they've been trying to make this movie from the 90s all the way until 2011. Yeah, Michel Gondry, who directed it, French music video director, he was attached to do it in like the 90s. It was going to be his debut. And then it never got made. Universal owned it for a while. Miramax owned it for a while. Ultimately, Columbia ended up putting it out. Mark Wahlberg was going to play the Green Hornet at one time. George Clooney was going to play the Green Hornet at one time. He ended up dropping out to do Batman and Robin. That's how long ago it was like going to be made. And then as far as Kato, so Stephen Chou, he's a director and a martial artist. He was going to do it for a while, but before him, Jet Li was going to do it in the early 2000s. So Jet Li was going to play Kato. Then he ended up dropping out to do that movie, The One, which we got to review one day because it's horrible. He dropped out to do The One. So as far as that role, it wasn't like recast as many times. But directors, our boy who we just did all those Mission Impossible, Christopher McQuarrie was attached to this thing at one time. He was writing it and then was going to direct it. Stephen Chou was going to direct it. Kevin Smith was hired to write and direct it at one point. So this thing was in development hell for like 20 years before it even got made. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting, but those are just a little bit of fun facts.
It's funny because I thought of Jet Li as Kato. I was like, yeah, he fit. Especially young Jet Li. He fits perfect. I mean, it's hard to, it's really wrong to say, but it's an Asian role. So it's absolutely. Like you say, yeah. So it's like it's one of those like you say stereotype, but it's not a stereotype because the role is a Asian person.
He's played a Bruce Lee role before in Fist of Legend, so it's not like he hasn't picked up the mantle of something Bruce Lee did before. And honestly, Jet Li at the time was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, like martial arts star. So it would have been cool to see him in the role. The
movie would have been totally different with Jet Li. I totally feel
he's not
like
as funny. I think the guy they got is kind of got more of a humor. A sense of humor, but the fighting would have been cooler. Not that it was bad, but it would have been cooler.
Yeah. All right. Look, with that said, how did the Green Hornet do in the box office? Well, budget-wise was $120 million, which I thought it was the movie looked great for $120. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Worldwide, $227 million. Again, international beats out domestic on this one. International is $129, while domestic was only $98. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not shocked with these numbers. What I'm really shocked is why there was never a sequel, because the movie did great and it looked like the audience enjoyed themselves. From here, I don't know what the critics and audience, but from the numbers, it looked like they doubled their money. So, Nate, what did you think of?
I think it's interesting. I don't remember it making that much. So, hey, cool. And I don't know how it did. I'm going to assume it did okay. Blu-ray and all that stuff. The 3D ticket prices probably helped with as far as the box office. Yeah, maybe. Now, well, when you hear the scores, maybe you'll be why. Maybe that's why they didn't make a file. Maybe they thought, okay, yeah, it did pretty good, but we don't know if people will show up again. You know what I mean? Plus, you had Seth Rogen, who's in this movie, and we'll get to him, but he's a comedy guy more so. Maybe he was like, I don't know if I want to do another one of those movies. You know what I mean? I have no idea. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize it made that much.
Well, let me know what the critics and audience
thought of this great. Not great. This is sitting at they're almost the same number. 45% critic score, 43% audience. The 2% of the audience liked it less than the critics. It's almost a 50. It's pretty right in the middle. I will say, before we get into our review, Alex, when I did see this the first time, I liked it. So I was more in the 50 I was in the 43% that enjoyed the movie for the most part. Did it change? I don't know, but I liked it.
From what I remembered, I enjoyed it also. How do we do the rewatch?
We'll see if it holds up. I don't know. It's been,
pretty much.
This movie's 15 years old now.
Yeah. No, let's see. Let's get to the lead characters. Now you got Seth Rogen and then this guy, I forgot his name, but
Chou is the one playing Kato. And then you have Cameron Diaz as the love interest kind of character, Lenore or whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I think I like Chou in this movie better. I like Kato better than I like Britt. Britt is the guy he plays the Green Hornet, Seth Rogen.
Reed.
And you got to keep in mind, at this time, Seth Rogen was pretty bankable. It's probably why he made money. This is like after Knocked Up and all these kind of movies. He was a big name. Superbad was 2008, I think, as well, or 2009, one of those. So like, him and Evan Goldberg, who wrote this movie, they're writing partners. They wrote Superbad. They wrote this, and they made it PG-13. It did have a lot of cursing for a PG-13, but nothing too raunchy. So they were working in a different field. I don't know if he knows how to write, if they are the best choice to write this kind of movie. I did read he wanted to do a buddy comedy in the vein of a Lethal Weapon or 48 Hours. So tonally, that's what they were going for. A little more humorous. The villain's, killing people, all this stuff, and it's a little funnier. So I get it. A 2010s version of that. Did it work as a lead? I don't think he's super interesting, to be honest. I think Seth Rogen is miscast in this movie, I think is what I'm getting at. I get it that he's supposed to be rich. He's not supposed to be a trained fighter. He's not supposed to be whatever. His style of humor, I think, is edgier than this movie was allowed to be. And so unless this was going to be R-rated, if this was R-rated, I think he would have been a better choice. The PG-13, I feel like it hampered him a little bit, and he's just kind of weird. Like, Britt's a weird character in this movie. Like, he has all these girls because he's rich, but then when he actually likes the one girl, she, like, hates him pretty much. Cameron Diaz's character is like, get away, you're weird. And he's weird. He's a little creepy. He can't fight. I do like the dynamic between him and Kato, but I think it's weird because, like, they became best pals really fast. And then really quickly, they're not friends no more because he liked the girl. And, and now he hates him. He's not a super likable character. He's too hot-headed to me. And he hates his dad, which I get. His dad was kind of a jerk. But then he comes to find out his dad was trying to do the right thing and all this stuff. I think it's not great. I like Kato. I think Kato's way more interesting. He's like really good at building stuff. He knows how to like make contraptions and fix the cars but also he could fight. And I think he's funny. I actually do think he's funnier. Like there is some good banter between the two that makes me laugh. I think he's a more interesting character. And as far as Cameron Diaz, why is she in this? I have no idea. This was a waste of a role for her. She's barely in it, to be honest with you. Rewatching it, I didn't realize how little she was in the movie. This could have been anybody. I guess she's a name, so they were like, let's get a big name for the role. But I don't know. Could have been anyone. Overall, I think they're okay. I gave them a 3, like a soft 3. I didn't mind watching them, but I don't think I think Kato's cool, and I think Britt's not that cool. Combined, it's a 3.
You know, it's funny because I got a 3. I gave it a 3. I thought he was good, but he was not my cup of tea. First of all, I don't like Seth Rogen anyway. So when I was watching this movie, I was like, oh man, it's the same tropes with his like his stupid laugh. And I'm like, oh my God. It didn't feel believable. I don't believe that guy was rich. Like, honestly, I think they should have, at that time, 2011, to be really honest with you, I think I would have got Jared Padalecki, whatever his name is, the one from Supernatural. Yeah, the one that played Dean. Would have been a perfect casting for Brett. He's good looking. He looks rich. So it could have worked for me. And he's funny too. So if you wanted to do the whole funny thing, like Dean is a funny character. But anyway, I like the dynamic between the two. I just did not connect with the Seth Rogen part.
Yeah.
Cameron Diaz, you're right. They could have just got any girl. I don't know why they got her. They just did it because of her name. Just put a lot of big name people, I guess, in this movie to sell. But I will say this. I personally believe you could do a Green Hornet now. I believe you could bring it down or make it into an actual TV show with the technology that we have now. And my only thing that I would change within like the lead characters will make them more grounded, make them more real. I didn't like this because it didn't feel real. Like, this guy's rich. I get it, but I didn't connect with him because it felt like every other superhero, right? The parents died. His dad died. In 2 seconds, he was like, we got to be superheroes. Can you want to hold my balls or whatever he says? Like, come with me and hold my balls or whatever like that. Like, it wasn't, some parts were funny, but I just didn't like the humor with this style of character. I think this character needed to be a little bit semi-grounded-ish, like a John McClane style character, like the rich one. And then, of course, the Kato one, he could bring the life to it with Daniel Yang would be perfect as Kato, like an older Kato. Jelly's too old. Way too old right now. Yeah. But I thought I agree. They were good. I think a sequel would have helped them, but they were good. Not great. And I am definitely not perfect. I gave him a 3 also with Chou. Okay, so main villain, you got Christoph Waltz, right? As Chonomsky.
Chonomsky.
Chonomsky. And then becomes Bloodnomsky.
Bloodnomsky. And then David Harbour, a pre-fame David Harbour. I didn't even know he was in this because
Me either.
I haven't seen it in like 13 years. And he wasn't famous 13 years ago. So I didn't even remember. When I saw him, I was like, wait a second. Yeah. David Harbour?
And Eddie Furlong.
Eddie Furlong's in it. This movie has a lot of like known. Tom Wilkinson plays his dad. You have James Franco in that small role. Like,
oh, that was funny.
That's one of my favorite scenes. I'm not going to lie. Okay, let's get to the villains. Chudnovsky. Okay, change to Bloodnovsky. I'll start with him. I love Christoph Waltz. This was after Inglourious Bastards. That was like his big sort of coming out party that people knew him. For this movie, I think he does work. Honestly, I think he works. Like, because they're going for a more comedic tone. Like, the gun with 2 barrels is hilarious. That is like, whoever thought he can make it wider. Like, whoever thought of that, genius. I thought that was really funny. I like how he's constantly asking people how he could be scarier, how he could be more intimidating. And then he does the line and the guy's like, that's really stupid. He's like, why is it stupid? Why is it stupid? It's pretty good. Whether it's the mask or your own blood, red is the last color you will see. Like, I think that's funny, And I feel like Christoph Waltz is a serious enough actor that it actually makes it funnier when he does those lines. You know what I mean? So I don't mind him. Is he generic? Sure. Yes. He's just crime lord. They don't even really say what he does. He just says he's in charge of crime. That's it. There's no he sells drugs, I guess. He has a construction site, He probably has that's like his money laundering business, but they don't go into it. It's not that kind of movie. Also, fun fact, Nicolas Cage was originally supposed to play this part, but dropped out. He dropped out because he wanted them to flesh out the character more. And they were like, no, we don't have time for to give a backstory. And he was like, then I can't do it. Can't do it, man. So it was almost Nicolas Cage for a while, right up until it got filmed. So as far as a pivot, I like Christoph Waltz. He's good. David Harbour, though, I like David Harbour as an actor. His is even more generic, like corrupt politician. Oh, he's the DA.
Oh, yeah, district attorney.
DA who wants power, wants to stay in charge, wants to control the news. And this is 2011. Like the fact that they're really banking on, and this is where it could have been updated. The fact that they're banking on a newspaper being this relevant in 2011 is crazy. People are already online at this point. And Rogen they do make a line in there where he's like, put it on the blogs, put it on the website, put it on. But the fact that it's still like this traditional newspaper and everyone's reading it, it's like, come on, man, ain't nobody reading that paper. So, newspapers still exist, but they're mostly in a digital format now because that's just kind of how the world is. This was a little bit before. I mean, I get it's 15 years ago, but there was enough. All I'm saying, iPhones existed at this point. So I fell out of 3 again. I don't know why. I could not give anything here higher than a 3 because, I don't really like David Harbour. I like him in the role, but I don't like the character. But I like Bludnovsky. I like when he changes to Bludnovsky. He's funny. He made me laugh a bunch of times. He kills a lot of people. He dies in a very gruesome way for a PG-13 movie. The dude gets 2 wooden stakes stuck in his eyes, and then he gets shot. Like the guy, both of them die in very horrific ways. This is barely a PG-13. But anyway, I gave it a 3.
You know what's funny? I gave him a 4.
Oh, okay.
I liked him. Yeah. I liked him. I thought he was a very good villain. While generic, but he's a comic book villain. And I thought he was funny. I like when he was sitting and he goes with James Franco. Yeah. And he's like, dude, you're not even intimidating. He says, that's a stupid suit. That's a disco suit.
Disco Santa.
Yeah, Disco Santa. And he's like, really? I'm not intimidated. And when he took out the 2 guns and he killed them, and he was like, so what about the suit? And he goes, I love the suit. He goes, so what's a Disco Santa? I don't know, man. I just made the shit up.
the James Franco scene got to be one of the, it's one of the funniest scenes in the movie. When he's like, Chopnovsky, can't say his name. He's like, what kind of name is that? It's so funny, bro. I love it.
Yeah, I thought he was funny there. But I agree with you. When he becomes Bludnovsky, I think to me, I thought that was the best part. Yeah. When he comes out the suit and then he puts another suit, a leather jacket, red suit. I thought it was funny. I thought Christopher Waltz is mad funny in this movie. He made me laugh a lot in this movie. When in the rooftop with the other henchmen.
Yeah.
He goes, boss, I think you're losing your mind. And he goes, I think I'm losing it too. And then he shot him.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. So honestly, at the end, and he did fight Kato.
Yeah.
So to me, that's why I gave him a 4, because honestly, at the end of the day, he did kill all the bad guys within the LA. He did everything villainy. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I thought he was funny too. I kind of liked him. He was funny. Bludnovsky. I was like, oh, you dummy.
He was
so funny. 4 and a 3. Yeah. What do you give action sequence?
Man, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. I gave it a 3. I don't know why. Everything was like when I was watching this movie, I kind of liked it. I was like, I still kind of liked it. I was like, this is entertaining, it's pretty funny. And then the action scenes are pretty good. I remember the thing of where he slows down time or whatever, and he sees all the beep, boop, 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 boop. That first one where the car stretches and stuff. That was a very cool visual flair. And in 3D, I remember it looked cool because it made it look really deep. And this director, Michel Gondry, he did a lot of music videos. He's only directed 4 movies or something like that. Mostly his credits are music videos. So he is a visual person. So I think he did a good job with the action scenes. The final action scene is long. It's a good 20 minutes from the car, when they're driving the car, and then they drive it into the building, into the newspaper building, and then they go up the elevator, and then it gets cut in half. I thought that was funny. It's a funny gag to drive half a car. And then it's just half the car, and then they're shooting rockets out of it, and it's got machine guns. There's a whole chase on the street with people shooting machine guns. The door gun is a cool idea where Seth Rogen opens the door and it has a machine gun in it. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in this. You know what? I'm gonna change my score. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4 because now that I'm talking about it, there was a lot of really cool things, and I think they did execute it well. Nothing in this like looks, for a guy who's never done an action movie, I think the action is very well done. I think, and also has one of the funniest fights where him and Kato are fighting each other. Kato, every time he kicks him, he goes flying. And when he flies through that little window.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Bro, it made me laugh. I rewind it every time. I have to watch it twice. Because he kicks him, he just goes, boop, he falls into and then Kato jumps through the window. It's a great, like, fun fight. So I'm actually going to give it a 4. I'll raise it 1 point here. I think it's actually very good.
You know what's crazy? I think this is the highlight of the movie, is the action. While I think the story's kind of, we'll talk about next segment. But I like the action in this. I did give it a 4. I was like, off the bat, I do like it a lot. The Kato scene, what hinders it, Nate, for me, is that they try to shoot it in 3D. If it wasn't 3D and it was just Kato doing his martial arts moving, and then you add the 3D afterwards so you can see the slow motion, I'll be like, yo, this is dope. The slow motion thing took me out a little bit here and there because we don't have glasses. Me and you were watching them in actual 2D. So I'm like, this is not working for me. But other than that, I think he's really fun when he sees the red. I kind of like that. It makes it different from every other people. And I like when Seth Rogen got it too. He sees green and then he screws up and trips. So I thought that was pretty funny.
He's running at him with the office, the bottom of the office chair.
Yeah, the chair. He's swinging.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. So, like, to me, like, those certain scenes are funny. The fight between them two, it was funny. I thought it was pretty cool.
And the car is sick. The Black Beauty is
the one I was going to just say that. It's a very beautiful car. Like, I like it. I like the car chase scenes with this. I think he did a pretty good job. I mean, it's not this big Mission Impossible car chase scene,
right?
But I kind of like it. It's a big, heavy car. You could tell it looks heavy, so they're not going to be able to do crazy maneuvers. But I thought it worked very well. The missile launching thing, I agree with you. All the gadgets in the car was really dope. The half a car at the end I thought was really cool. One thing I will say, though, that was really fun, I don't know if you liked it, though, is when he comes out the car and he puts on the green light that makes him look like they can't see him. I thought that was dope. With the car, it's like doing this green, like...
the headlights.
Like the hypnotizing...
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yo, that's actually pretty cool. And they're all going like this, and I'm like, okay, now that's cool. That's badass. I agree. I thought the whole action sequences, while it's a lot of generic action scenes, I thought it was a fun superhero movie thing. And I like every time Kato whips everybody, this dude kicks one person, he goes, I beat everybody up. He's like, what are you talking about?
We did it.
Yeah.
And the one time he kicks the guy in the head, it actually hits Kato in the balls. So it's like he hurt his own partner.
Yeah, that was funny. So like, again, like, I kind of like that stuff. I thought that was like, again, the action that to me was the highlight of the Green Hornet. So 4 for me, 4 for you. Okay, now storyline. What you got?
Okay, storyline. Okay, now we're back to normal. I think it's okay. I gave it a 3. I'm back at a 3. Go back down. It's fine. I think it's serviceable. You know, you're writing a property. Again, there's certain things that didn't age, like the newspaper thing. I feel like they maybe could have figured out a way to update it, but then again, you know, news is news. And maybe it was like a TV station or something like that rather than like a newspaper. Other than that, I think they did a fairly good job of modernizing this. You know what I mean? Again, the car is awesome. I think the characters, I like Kato and Britt's dynamic. Again, I like Edward James almost. It's a very small role, but I like him. Like he's like the guy that should be in charge anyway. And he's almost like a babysitter. But I like him. Cameron Diaz, again, I don't mind the role. I don't know why she's in it, but like Lenore's an okay role. I like how they use her to like, she predicts what he's going to do next, and then they just do that. They're like, what is he going to do next? Like, he's definitely going to do this, and then that's just what they go do. I like that. I think that's clever. I think that was pretty funny. Because storyline also goes with the script. I do think Seth Rogen's funny. I like Superbad. I love Superbad.
Oh, no, Superbad is really good.
And him and Evan Goldberg, I think, are good comedy writers. Again, I think with the edges shaved off, this is less funny than it could have been because it's PG-13. Some writers are just made for R. I feel the same way about Eddie Murphy. Like most of his best stuff is when he could just rip, let loose. PG-13 hampers a little bit. I do feel like it feels hampered at times. It does. And so I feel like if it was a little edgier, this might have been better. But as a superhero, because that's what it is. It is a superhero movie. one that is less familiar to audiences in 2011 because the show came out in the 60s.
Yeah.
So unless you're a big nerd who's into old stuff, you're not even going to know what this is. I think it's a pretty good like entry movie. So I gave it a 3.
I'm with you. I gave it a 3 also. I think storyline wise, while it had nuggets that were pretty good, but it was its generic father dies, revenges father, becomes which is weird. Are they anti-heroes or heroes?
Because so they're pretending to be villains so that they could weed out other villains, basically. So the newspaper covers them as villains, even though they're not.
Yeah, and I like the ending when he shoots him. He's a message from the
he drives by. Because he has to go to the hospital for the bullet. Yeah.
It was a smart move, though. I was like, wait, that's actually a pretty good idea. He gets shot in the shoulder.
Yeah.
He's like, here's a message from the Green Hornet, and shot him, and then he left. And I kind of like that the car changed the color. I was like, what was this cool when you guys were doing a car chase scene?
Yeah.
Like, that was cool, but the story is very generic. I don't think Cameron Diaz should have been in this role. I agree with you 100%. Certain things I would change here and there. Keep Chinomsky the same. Don't change nothing. Just keep him the same way. Everything else you could change. I honestly say, Nate, I would love to see a Green Hornet movie again, but with real good actors in the role. Because I think this has a potential, because it looked like the audience enjoyed it. It has a potential to be an actual cool trilogy if you write a good story that works. And I think the fact that if you could get a good martial artist that could play Kato, and then you get a good leading man that could tip the line between serious and funny.
Yeah, because it does have to be camp. Like, it has to be funny.
It has to be. Yeah, it has to be camp. So you need to have an actor that can become serious when it needs to be serious, and then funny when it needs to be funny. I think you got a recipe for a good movie with this kid. Because I didn't remember this movie, dude. I was watching it, I'm like, man, I don't remember this good. Like, this movie's pretty good. And I'm like, now I want to see the car. Because the car is so sexy. I'm like, man, I want to see the car. And I kind of love the green and black. Like, it's weird to say, but I enjoyed the green light when he turns on the car. Like, the headlights were green. So when you see the overhead shot of the car going through the highway, you see the green lights compared to the normal Tuscan and fluorescent lights. And I was like, this is actually pretty dope. But I do agree. With newer stuff, I would be happy with it. But storyline-wise, it had potential. I agree with you. Seth Rogen was totally miscast in this role. I like Chou. He was really good. But at the end of the day, I gave it a 3. I thought it was a good storyline. And it kept me interested because I thought it was like pretty cool throughout the movie. But what you got for your overall?
Well, okay, now for real, broken record. I gave it a 3, but I like it. It's a 3 because I agree with a lot of what you said. And just to say what I said, there's potential for more.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give this like a 4 or a 5 because I think it could have been one of those. Maybe not a 5. It could have been at least a 4, though. It could have been at least a 4. But there was missed opportunities. Even with that, I feel like it's a flawed but entertaining movie. I like it. I think it's entertaining. Me and my brother, we laughed a lot when we saw it. And when I told him I had to watch it, he remembered one of the quotes that he liked from this movie at the end when he gets shot. And remember, he calls him Sean D earlier. He's like, "What's Sean D?" He's like, "It means brother." And then he's like, "You're gonna have to dig it out of my meat." And then she goes to take it out, and then Kato's like, Sean D forever. And my brother always quotes that. He always says like, Sean D forever. Like, it's funny. There's a lot of good, funny moments. It's entertaining. Is it the best movie ever? No, but I like it. I think it's good. And you know what? Michel Gondry, weird choice to direct it. I think it worked because he's very stylish. I love the split screen where it splits and splits and splits and it keeps splitting. If you follow it, I don't know how they did that. I don't know how they did it, but literally you have these two people and then they start walking this way and it splits off like it's 2 cameras. And then one of those splits off like it's 3 cameras all of a sudden. Very cool. The film nerd in me was like, that's a cool scene. Does it mean anything to this movie? Not really, but I think it's cool. So yeah, I quite liked that. The only other 2 movies, by the way, Alex, that you might have known him from, he directed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey and Be Kind, Rewind with Jack Black.
Oh, that was my joint. That's my joint.
That's the movie he did before this movie. So he's kind of weird and quirky, you know?
Right. So that tonality of Be Kind and Rewind, it should have been Green Hornet.
Jack Black should have played the Green Hornet.
He should. Oh
because
my
he's
God,
kind of chubby and he's not like, you know.
No, he would have been funny.
I think he would have been funny. Now that we said that, I think Jack Black could have most definitely played.
And Mos Def should have been Kato.
Mos Def, yeah, they could just made Kato black.
That would have been funny.
He could have been the RZA because he thinks he's a martial artist.
Oh, that would have been funny. RZA.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
But anyway, I gave it a 3. I do think it's not the greatest movie, but I have fun. This is my third time watching it, and I liked it all 3 times.
I agree. I give it a 3.5.
Oh,
I think I liked it a lot. I actually liked it a lot. I wanted to see, it's funny because now I want to see more of the Green Hornet. And what I kind of liked about the movie, I will add this bit because everything I'm going to say is the same thing. But what I would add is I kind of like what at the end when they did the old school Green Hornet stuff.
The music?
Yeah, it was like
yeah.
It was
That's the old theme song. Apparently.
Yeah, I think they should have kept that like in the movie when they were doing their stuff. They should have did that with the Green Hornet logo going into the screen and out like Batman. Yeah, that would have been hilarious. But I kind of like the Green Hornet thing at the end, like with the graphics and all that stuff. But honestly, I really think this is a property that I would enjoy bring back. Big time. I think this would be a heavy. I mean, if you get Daniel Yang to play Kato, bro.
Honestly, dude, as far as these go, Green Hornet is cooler to me than like the Shadow or some of those other ones we did. It's cooler.
Oh, the Phantom.
He's basically Batman but dumb, and then he has a sidekick that kicks ass.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. I think pretty much. I think you could do a really good sequel or trilogy, and in the sequel, you could do Kato teaching him how to fight. So now he fights back. So now you could do some cool sequences in the second movie, so you could see him at least develop a bit. But he still gets his ass beat, so you could do something like that. Like, you know what I mean?
By the way,
like
the gas gun.
That was funny.
When he shoots himself with it. And he thought he was in a sleep for 1 day. And it was 11 days.
Yeah, he was like, how long have I been out for? Thursday. Oh my God.
About 3 days. And it's like, no, 11. He got the diaper.
And then he shot him.
Dude, that scene is so funny. I don't know why it makes me laugh.
No, it is funny. I mean, like, again, there's certain things that was funny. But the lead up to that scene was hilarious because he's like, what does your gun look like? And he goes, oh, I don't need a gun. Why do you don't need a gun? He goes, because I'm lethal. He goes, I'm lethal too. He goes, you know how many guys I beat up? He's like,
you need to have some nunchucks then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those are fun. But other than that, I think hands down 3.5 for me. You gave it a 3. Your total points.
16 out of a 25. I like it. I think it's a fun movie. I think I'd stop short of calling it underrated, because I can understand if people don't really like it that much. But for me, it's slightly underrated. I think it's a fun, entertaining movie.
Oh, I gave it a 17.5. I totally think this is I'll say it this way, not underrated like a hidden gem or whatever, right. But I will say this is an underrated superhero movie. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of superhero movies that are not as good and people forget about it within time. I think this is one that people should go back and revisit because it's pretty good. It's really good. Like, it's not boring. I was not bored. I laughed more than just watching a movie. I literally laughed. With Christopher Waltz character, he's funny. Seth Rogen is funny at times, but very sexual harassment through other times. But that was the time of 2000s. Like, a lot of the comedy there was a lot of sexual harassment type stuff. Yeah. But they had some cool stuff there, but it was more funny to me. But the action is really good too. So they had a lot of cool elements though. So yeah. Other than that, Nate, what is coming up next?
All right. So next up on the continuing on with season 1, which is TV shows turn movies, we got another one that's kind of comedy action, which I like. These are going to have a blend, and it's going to be Baywatch. This is starring our boy Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Zac Efron. This one is R-rated, so we'll see if the edginess helps it. But of course, based on one of the biggest 90s, it was like the biggest show on TV for like a couple of years in the 90s.
Doesn't this have Alexandria Daddario?
Alexandria Daddario is in it. Priyanka Chopra Jonas or whatever, she's in there. And that other model, that's a model, the blonde girl. I don't know. She's not even an actress. She's just a model. And the funny thing is, I made this schedule a long time ago, but this is cool because Baywatch was a TV show. And now there's this movie, and now they're rebooting the TV show again. So there's going to be a new version of Baywatch that is coming.
Really?
Stephen Amell is in it from Green Arrow. He's playing Hobie, which is David Hasselhoff's son in the original. He's playing him grown up. And so, yeah, you got some people
Victoria Lead Priyanka Chopra Jones.
Yeah, Priyanka Chopra. She's the bad guy, I think. She's the Indian lady.
Kelly Rosenbach.
Kelly Rohrbeck.
Rohrbeck.
She's the model. Yeah, she's the model.
I mean, you got some pretty good people.
Yeah, so we're gonna do Baywatch. I haven't seen it since the theater. Not gonna lie, I have no idea, but we're gonna be covering that. So yeah, that's what we got coming up next.
All right, guys, there you guys have it. You guys are enjoying these episodes. If you guys are listening to us on the go, please leave a rating, leave some star ratings, leave some comments. We will comment back. Of course, we have these episodes on YouTube, so you guys could check over the YouTube version of your podcast, your season 1 that we're covering movies turned into TV shows. The first 8 episodes of the podcast is Mission Impossible movies, and then of course the last 8 episodes are just one-off movies that TV shows that turned into movies. So we hope you guys enjoy those. But again, you guys can head over to Geeks and Flicks over on YouTube, subscribe, hit likes on your favorite episodes, leave some comments. We will comment back. But other than that, I'm your host, Satis Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
Be awesome to each other and geek out.